Good morning, and thank you very much for being here today. Today, the Department of Homeland Security is launching a new, first-of-its-kind national public awareness and education campaign to help stop one of the most heinous and most urgent threats to our children, online child sexual exploitation and abuse. The campaign is called Know2Protect. Its importance cannot be overstated. The cruelty and prevalence of this horrific crime are unimaginable. This past January, our department's Homeland Security investigations received a case referral from Europe regarding the online sexual exploitation of two underage males. The exploitation was depicted in images and video. The victims had been lured and manipulated to believe they were speaking to a female, and they had been shown nude photographs and videos to make them believe that was true. The case evidence led our investigators to believe the two young victims were United States citizens. Through their investigation, the work of the agency's Victim Identification Lab, and cooperation with a local youth group in the area, Special Agents of Homeland Security Investigations, or HSI, as it is commonly known, identified and located the victims and began with the victim's family the work of protection and support. Last year, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children received more than 36 million cyber tips from reports around the world. The volume of incoming reports has increased more than 20% over the past 3 years. The number of urgent, imminent reports involving a child at risk of imminent harm has grown by more than 140% over that same time frame. Almost 64,000 such reports were received last year alone. The scourge covers the world from India to Pakistan to Philippines to Australia and Europe and here at home in the United States. In too many places, the web growing darker and darker. I commend the courage and the heroism of the law enforcement agents and partners who fight this heinous crime every day, having to pore through horrific images and do the painstaking work of methodical, intricate research, arduous travel, and difficult confrontations. I am in awe of the profound strength and resilience of the victims and survivors, their ability and resolve to overcome the traumas and rebuild their lives for a better, safer future. We in law enforcement cannot do the work of prevention, investigation and accountability, and victim protection and support alone. We need everyone working together with us to forge an all-of-society effort against the global epidemic of online child exploitation and abuse. That is why we are launching Know2Protect. As part of this campaign, we are rolling out new free resources and tools that children, their parents and loved ones, their peers, and the trusted adults in their lives can use to learn of the dangers and how to guard against them, how to stay safe online, how to report suspicious activity to law enforcement, and how to seek help. These free resources are available right now at know2protect.gov. Know2Protect also includes an in-person educational program called Project iGuardian, which teaches children, teens, and adults in schools, community groups, companies, and nonprofit organizations about the ongoing threat children and teens face from online predators and prevention strategies to make the internet a safer place for the children and teens. In ensuring that our Know2Protect campaign is an all-of-society effort, we reached out to organizations outside of government to join forces with us, understanding the tremendous reach and influence they have. The response was immediate, and we are both proud of and grateful for the growing partnership and momentum our campaign is already building. Our partners at launch include professional sports leagues and organizations, including NASCAR, the National Hockey League, the National Football League, Major League Baseball, Major League Soccer, and the nonprofit U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee, which represents Team USA athletes. Technology and gaming companies, including Google, Snap, Roblox, Meta, and Intel. Civic organizations, including Boy Scouts of America and the National Police Athletic League. Law enforcement partners, including the National Fusion Center Association, the International Association of Campus Law Enforcement Administrators, and the Small and Rural Law Enforcement Executives Association, and many, many others. You will hear from several of our partners shortly. This morning, Know2Protect was broadcast on the NASDAQ billboard in Times Square. We have materials at know2protect.gov that are accessible to children, and we will work with schools across the country to distribute them. We are active on social media, amplifying the campaign's messaging, reaching out to target audiences where they gather with critical information they need to be safe. Education and awareness make a difference. This past October, HSI special agents conducted a Project iGuardian presentation at a school in Tennessee. Following the presentation, after hearing how important it is to tell a trusted adult if you suspect you are a victim of online child exploitation, a young girl in attendance came up to the special agents, accompanied by her parents. She told them that an adult male had contacted her on social media, sent her sexually explicit imagery of himself, and persuaded her to produce and send her own. The child received victim assistance, and federal prosecution of the perpetrator is now being pursued. We are working with our partners in Australia, the UK, Canada, New Zealand, and elsewhere around the world to fight this scourge. First and foremost, we must prevent the harm from ever occurring. Tragically, too often we must do the work of rescue, protection, and support. The need to keep our children safe online requires all of us to work together as partners. That is what our Know2Protect campaign is all about. We are grateful for the growing partnership and proud of this campaign. Our dedication to this work, to this mission, will be unrelenting. Thank you for joining us. I am grateful that several of our campaign partners are here with us today, including NASCAR President Steve Phelps, NHL's Jared Naples, Chief of Security, Snap's Platform Safety Lead Viraj Doshi, National Police Athletic League Board President Christopher Hill, and Boy Scouts of America President and CEO Roger Crone. And now I'll turn it over to Know2Protect Campaign Director Kate Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary, and truly, sir, thank you so much for your support. It's been unrelenting as well to get us to this moment where we are proud to launch the Know2Protect campaign. Good morning, everyone. Happy to be here on launch day. Know2Protect, the Department of Homeland Security's newest public awareness campaign to combat online child sexual exploitation and abuse. My name is Kate Kennedy, and I am the Know2Protect campaign director. Joining us today are committed campaign partners from all different sectors, and they're helping DHS and Know2Protect in this fight. And so now I introduce a few of these committed partners who would like to provide some important remarks. Please join me in welcoming Steve Phelps, president of NASCAR. He would like to share a bit more about NASCAR's commitment and work with the department to combat this egregious crime. Mr. Phelps.
Thank you, Kate. It's a pleasure to be here. This is, I think it's interesting because there are probably people in the audience or watching that would say, well, why NASCAR and why this important project or important initiative? Well, the why is because of the exploitation that the Secretary had talked about, and it is just a heinous act. And so if NASCAR can use its platform and its tens of millions of fans to speak to this, and we have had a great relationship with DHS for many, many years, almost 20 years, and it is an important relationship for us on many levels. But when the Secretary had called and asked for our support, we gladly gave it because of the importance of what this campaign is going to do. So we have millions of outlets or millions of fans that will be educated to this at our tracks, in all of our owned media, and then educating everyone that's in our stakeholder group about the importance of what this initiative will do. So we're thrilled to be here on behalf of the folks at NASCAR and our entire industry. It is my great pleasure to be here, and thank you so much for joining us this morning. Take care.
Thank you so much, President Phelps. And now please join me in welcoming Viraj Doshi, Platform Safety Lead at Snap Inc. Viraj.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. Thanks, Kate, for the introduction. My name is Viraj Doshi. I'm the Platform Safety Lead at Snapchat. My team gets to work on a variety of different policy and product-related issues to keep our broader community safe. As an early collaborator with the DHS on this initiative, I believe our support started around a year and a half or 2 years ago at this point. We are extremely thrilled and proud to be here to help launch the campaign. I'd like to thank Secretary Mayorkas for your leadership on this issue, and to Kate and to your team and your colleagues for all the hard work that went into making today happen. At SNAP, we know how important education is on topics like child exploitation, and we believe that this type of campaign can be a real game changer in combating these types of risks. We are committed at SNAP in making sure any illegal activity does not have a place or a home on Snapchat. And specifically, we are committed to eradicating all child exploitation material or content on Snapchat. We employ a series of proactive and reactive technologies and assist law enforcement agencies in their investigations to bring abusers to justice. But we also know that no one entity or organization can adequately address these issues alone. We are proud to work with other organizations like the Know2Protect Global Alliance, our industry partners, and to take part in initiatives like Know2Protect, where we can meet teens where they are. Supporting the Know2Protect campaign is just an extension of that work. And as I think the first private sector entity to join in on this campaign, we're planning on supporting the campaign in a variety of different ways. One, we are providing ad support and space on Snapchat to make sure the campaign's resources and educational materials gets to the millions of teens and young people who use Snapchat every day. We just earlier today started to promote the campaign on our privacy and safety hubs. And a few weeks ago, we started to do some research on what teens and young adults are facing online and the risks they're facing online across all platforms and surfaces to better inform the campaign, but also to better inform our work. I wanted to share a couple quick top lines from that research that we're continuing to conduct. But we surveyed around 1,000 teens and young adults, and what we found is over 60% of them have experienced some sort of grooming or exploitation experience online, or they've shared some sort of intimate imagery online as well. We know from the research, but also from our own work, that when you share intimate imagery, it can often lead to other high-risk situations like financial sextortion, where victims are threatened to release even more private information, more imagery, or make a financial payment. Unfortunately, but not necessarily surprisingly, a large chunk of the respondents said that when they experience one of these types of harms, they usually keep it to themselves. For example, around 38% of the respondents said when they've experienced some sort of grooming behavior, they did not report it. Only 38% reported it to the online service, to law enforcement, or to a hotline. So all of this research has just re-emphasized our belief that a campaign like Know2Protect is needed, a single galvanizing message to educate everyone, but specifically young adults, teens, parents, and policymakers about how to identify and how to prevent these types of risks online. So just want to say, again, congratulations to the DHS on launching today. We will continue to be partners with you all to support this important work, as well as other important initiatives in this space to make sure that everyone knows the role that they can play in helping stamp out these types of harms online and offline. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I now invite Roger Crone, the President and Chief Executive Officer of Boy Scouts of America, to the podium to say a few words. Mr. Crone.
Kate, thank you so much. Mr. Secretary, thanks for what you do for our youth, by the way, for our country, and to all the men and women in the department. Thanks for what you do to keep the country safe. In my opinion, I think you are the most under-heralded agency in the federal government, and we couldn't be here without you. At the Boy Scouts of America, our goal is to prepare America's youth for lives of purpose and impact. We want every child in America to be prepared for life. Our number one goal is to safeguard the participants in our program and, frankly, safeguard all of America's youth. We have over 1 million kids in our program. We have over 175,000 girls in Boy Scouts of America. Like all organizations, we're going more digital. All right? We're delivering more of our programs and our material through digital means. As such, we have opened up, if you will, new attack surfaces for people who don't have the same goals that we do relative to America's youth. So it is terrific to partner with you on a program like Know2Protect and iGuardian, because we now provide resources to our participants where they are. And where are they now? They're on digital, they're on cell phones, they're on small screen devices. That's where they get their influencers, that's where they get their material. And now, with our partnership, we have a great resource for them to understand what is acceptable behavior, what is unacceptable behavior, what to do when they're faced with something that is confusing, that they don't understand, that they've never seen before. And partnering with the department, providing our youth resources, will make a big difference in safeguarding youth. So I appreciate what you've done, congratulate you on the launch, and we're proud to be a partner and excited about what the future holds. Thanks, Kate. Thanks, Mr. Secretary.
Thank you very much, Mr. Crone. And now I welcome Sergeant Chris Hill, the chairman of the National Police Athletic League. Sergeant Hill.
Thank you, thank you. Happy to be here. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Thank you, Kate and your team. Everyone's been great. National PAL is the only law enforcement youth serving organization in the country that was built by police officers to work with kids on a daily basis. And many of our kids come from neighborhoods and communities where there's a lack of technology, technology deserts, we like to call them. But all these kids have phones. All these kids have access through gaming systems. Their parents may not have the knowledge of how to respond. And so having Know2Protect and iGuardian come and be a resource that we can provide directly to them as we work with them every day, and we meet them where they are to help them become more successful people, to break those cycles that they may be entwined with at home, but also give them a resource so that they can, have the same opportunities as everyone else, but also to be safe. iGuardian is going to be a major hit because it's right where they are. And, all the kids have access to that. And so by giving them the resources through a platform where it's cost effective because it's free, free is for me, and that works because, again, we find a lot of times where those things that are most important in those neighborhoods they go without because they won't spend the money on it. So to have a resource that's free, that can be populated on their phones or their computers or game systems, where that they now know that they can come to the law enforcement officers that they deal with every day, or their teachers or their parents, and give them the resources and things, it's a game changer. So to be on the ground floor. I want to thank you very much, Kate and your team, and Mr. Secretary for all that you do. And as stated before, HSI and Homeland Security in general is definitely unheralded because you guys do a lot more than most people. Hey, I watch Court at the Border all the time. And but thank you for all that you've done. Thank you for what you're doing. Thank you to our partners. And again, it gives the parents another resource and the kids another resource to stay safe. So.
Thank you very much, Sergeant Hill, and all of our partners for being here today, and all of the other partners who are not here today, but will certainly be force multipliers for this campaign. And once again, Mr. Secretary, thank you, truly, sir. This is happening today because of your support and belief in what we can do to prevent this crime from happening in the first place. So thank you very, very much. I now introduce Mr. Secretary back over, and then OPA for some questions.
Yep. I want to, if I may, Sarah, just say a couple additional things. First of all, I want to speak about the partners who are here today and those who couldn't make it. And Steve Phelps, the CEO of NASCAR, Gary Bettman, the commissioner of the NHL, their response was emblematic of all of the partners. When I reached out to them personally to see if they were willing to join this campaign, the response was immediate, energetic, and profoundly committed. And it speaks to their citizenship and the citizenship of the organizations they lead. President Crone said something very, very powerful about the Boy Scouts of America, building young people to have lives of meaning and purpose. The second thing I want to speak of is the meaning and purpose that law enforcement brings to this world. I spoke of the strength and courage and heroism of law enforcement officers and agents that work on these cases. As we are here today, there are agents and officers and personnel reviewing images that are extraordinarily difficult to see. And they endure that difficulty because it's all about saving a child and protecting others. And I use the terms of heroism, courage, strength advisedly. And then there are the agents that travel across this country and around the world and perform painstaking work with that same purpose and also to hold the predators accountable. And they too are heroic, courageous, and strong. Third, just to give a live example of the intricacy of the work involved, some of you might be wondering why a beautiful Labrador retriever is here with his expert handler. His name is Mojo. And this lab, because of the expert instruction and guidance he receives, is actually trained to detect electronics in a home or other building that are hidden from plain sight, that may indeed contain evidence of online child sexual exploitation and abuse. And that's a powerful living example of the intricacy and detail and expertise that is needed to combat this scourge, and we will be unrelenting in our fight against it. With that, Sarah will take some questions.
So folks can raise hands and then state your name and your outlet.
Andy, NBC News. Yesterday, the House delivered the articles of impeachment against you to the Senate. What are your initial thoughts on that? And should the Senate table it, take it up, or what would you like to see the Senate do with those articles?
So, Andy, the Senate is going to do what the Senate considers to be appropriate as that proceeds. I'm here in New York City on Wednesday morning fighting online child sexual exploitation and abuse. We are focused on our mission. Our mission is an imperative to keep everyone safe and secure. Marie? Sonia.
York in crime involving migrants? We know it's a very small number, but it is an increase. How concerned are you about the presence of gangs from Venezuela here in New York City?
It is our responsibility, Sonia, to be concerned about everything and to address our concerns with action. And what we do when somebody commits a crime is, as a law enforcement agency, we address the criminal, and we ensure that our laws are enforced to the fullest.
Dan Riverly, New York One. Mr. Secretary, the articles of impeachment are related to your handling of the border, which led to nearly 200,000 migrants in New York City's care on the taxpayers' dime. And the Senate's taking it up today in D.C. Why are you announcing this in New York? And are you going to make use of your time here in New York meeting with anyone from the mayor or the governor's office? And then, relatedly, do you plan to be in D.C. for this afternoon when the Senate takes up the impeachment articles?
We are here in New York City because the partners and the Department of Homeland Security were in Times Square. NASDAQ gave us their billboard to broadcast the critical message in the fight against online child sexual exploitation and abuse. We are here for that reason. We are here because I have been on television this morning, and I will be on television subsequently, to speak about the Know2Protect campaign and its critical importance in rescuing children, saving children from ever being harmed, and holding perpetrators accountable. I will be in Washington, D.C. this afternoon, and the reason I will be in Washington, D.C. this afternoon is because that is where my office is, and I have more work to do.
Will you meet with the mayor or the governor or any of their staff? Phone call, meeting, anything?
My focus, and I have spoken with the mayor, I've spoken with the governor on prior occasions. My purpose in being in New York City today is for the launch of this campaign. Thank you all for being here.